what are your thoughts on the British channel? I love it, and let me tell you why. One reason I didn't review Sand from IK is because I thought that the black channel, the British channel from IK Multimedia, actually equaled that equalizer in quality. So, to me, I can't really, I mean, I could review it, but then it's going to be like, well, there's already plugins out there that exist like this. So that's what I said in my the video, the special message video, is that if you don't already have any SSL plugins like the British channel or even Slate Digital's one, the FGS, but to a lesser extent, because I thought that the British channel from IK not only has the equalizer but also the channel compressor, so it's the overall package. So if you couple that with the IK British, or the bus compressor, it's just called, but it is the SSL bus compressor. I already have both of those plugins, and I wasn't really hearing too much of a difference. Now, people were saying, yeah, it's a better bus compressor. So if you're really looking for a bus compressor plugin, then a lot of people were saying that that's the best one. To be honest with you, I wasn't really hearing it. I had no problem with the way that the glue sounded, but I think there's other guys out there who have better ears than me, or maybe just a thicker wallet where they're just buying whatever plugin that comes out. But I've been very picky about the plugins that I buy in the past year, because I want my money to go far. I don't have the spending, I don't have the extra cash laying around like I used to just buy whatever. Not that I was doing that before, but at this point I already have all these plugins, so I'm being a lot more careful about what I buy because I don't want to have redundant plugins. All right, you're looking for a single 2-channel comp or for tracking. Yeah, man, I mean, I've never heard of or used the tweakers, but Kush just in general has good gear, at least for their equalizers. But as far as, I mean, I really can't recommend it for sure because I've never used it before, but Kush has good stuff in general. So I'm not sure how much they cost, but I'm sure they're less than the G comp. On saturation plugins, have you tried IK Multimedia's Saturator X? No, but I did mean to, because that seemed to be like the workhorse of all the plugins out there. I just never did. I never reviewed it. I meant to, but like I think it was the summertime when the thing came out, and I was more interested in swimming and all that stuff. So maybe I will review it though. Saturator X, I would definitely recommend demoing it because it's got a lot of options. Really is the biggest thing. It's got a lot of options, and people were saying it was good. Oh, I haven't tried this one yet. So hold on. This is pretty cool. Let's see if this will work though. I don't know. All right, yeah, I can do it like this. Ready? And look at that. I'm in the corner and you guys are over there. There. Wait, am I doing it right? Yeah, you are there. So that's kind of cool. How can I get a crispy, bright vocal without distorting? Is there a special EQ that gives you air that sounds pleasant to my hearing? Well, I don't know about the trick to me. See, the harsh frequencies are not in the bright section. They're more in like the 2K to like 12K range, maybe more like 8 or 10K. So if you just boost above 12K, you can get away with doing that and it won't sound that harsh. The trick, for me at least, and I know you guys, I sound like a audio shill because I keep bringing this company up, but man, I love their plugins. Like seriously, that's why I love them so much, because I love boosting the high end. I love boosting the low end. And on a lot of plugins, you can't do that without it sounding just wrong. Especially the high end and the mid frequencies. But I guess the best piece of advice, and this is what I do, is I cut I cut before I boost. So I cut, and cutting actually makes things sound clearer and brighter. And then if I absolutely do need to boost, then I'll boost. And then after I boost, I'll put a dynamic equalizer or a de-esser in the case of vocals on. If I have to use 2 de-essers in a row, I'll do that. But I can't recommend this plugin enough for vocal equalization. Nova EQ from TDR Labs, from Tokyo Dawn Labs, those guys have absolutely released an amazing plugin. That is by far the one of the best plugins released this year. I think it was this year when they brought it out. But whenever it was, that plugin has made vocal equalization so much easier than it used to be. And also piano equalization. That's another area that I love it in. What do you think about Slate plugins? Well, I talked about this earlier, and since I already have it, I have the graphic, so I'll bring it up. Oh, that didn't work. That's right, because of this. Okay, let me try to do this without breaking anything. There. So I talked about this earlier, but I'll reiterate. I think that the Slate Digital Everything Bundle is by far the best deal out there these days, because I've spent probably, let me add it all up, between $500 to $600 on Slate plugins. So the fact that you can get plugins that I spent $600 on. Oh, there we go. There I am. I spent $600 on all these plugins. And that's not all the plugins that they offer. If I would have bought everything that Slate has, I would have spent over $1,000 easily. So for them to offer that is amazing to me. And you can get just 1 month for $25 and mix your album or mix whatever, mix your EP, and because that's all you need is like a month worth of plugins, right? And that one by far has the most all-around package out of all the subscription offers that are out there right now. I'll put that back up on the screen in case anybody missed that. So, so these are all the companies. Flux at one point was offering a subscription plan, but they don't offer that anymore. But these are the main companies doing the big plugin bundles, and I think it's really cool. I think Waves is garbage, but the rest of them, like Composer Cloud, Softtube, and Slate Digital, are the best ones of the bunch. I've never worked out a good system for storing projects. I have files all over the place. Any suggestions on how to keep files organized via a hard drive, cloud, phone? That's actually a very good question. So my suggestion number one is, and I did do a video about this. It's actually, I believe, in the recording basics video. I did it briefly, and I think I did make another one recently about organizing files. But it's super important that the second that you go to start a new recording session, a new song, okay, off my hard drive, I have a folder called Music Productions, okay, off my D drive. So Music Productions has its own folder. Inside of that folder are artist names. Inside of each artist name folder are all the songs that I recorded or mixed with that artist. And then within each song folder are more folders with each instrument. And then each instrument, I will have a session unless I recorded multiple instruments. In that case, I might only have that in one folder. But you have to be very careful from the very beginning of every recording session to organize everything that way. And also, if your DAW, saves files in a different part of the hard drive, which I hate when they do that. It's another reason I like Reaper is they unless you didn't save the session right off the bat, they don't put files anywhere besides the project folder that you save it into by default. I think you can change that, but anyway, as far as after the fact, like if you didn't organize stuff, then as far as a backup system, what I do is I have my web server. Excuse me. I have my web server. and I can back up things to that. So like any projects that I'm working on at the moment, I'll back up onto the web server. If I'm finished with a project, I haven't touched it in a month or two, I'll put it on a Blu-ray disc, a Blu-ray record disc, excuse me, or a DVD-R, and I typically will just burn. Well, I'll have two copies. I'll always have two copies. So I might buy an external drive and just save stuff on that, archiving, and then I might just burn two discs. So I always have two copies no matter what. If I'm working on a project, I have two copies. If I archive a project, I have two copies. And then as far as like off-site storage, that's another thing to consider in case your apartment or your house catches on fire. Then you don't lose your hard drives. That's always been my biggest nightmare. And I would actually recommend, they call it, I think it's, I'm going to say this wrong, it's a military term, like a boot out or a boogie bag or something. Basically a bag that you can keep in case of an emergency. I know I said that wrong, by the way. Somebody please correct me on that actual terminology. But, excuse me. A bug out bag, that's it. It's a bug out bag. So a bug out bag that I have all my external hard drives in one area of this room right here. So I can just grab all the drives, put them in a book bag, and get the hell out of there. I'd also take some of my camera gear if this house caught on fire. That's just, I know that's crazy to think, but it might happen one day. You might wake up and an appliance caught on fire or the furnace caught on fire. Stuff happens. Electrical fires happen. So you got to be ready in case that does happen.